Many of those ones are people from the ethnic background. This is the way that they're structured. And in Tinubu case, hold on. In the case that we have here, in the southwestern part of Nigeria, despite that you see a large chunk of people here supporting you, but you can give it a point that the southwestern part of Nigeria is an area where people can come out openly and voice out their opposition to their leader. When Obasanjo was the center of that field, if you see any strike and protest, it's no stronger here in South. When Abdullah was denied the presidency, the South was supposed to be at peace with Shonika, but they refused. They fought him. They also fought Obasanjo. And there are people still speaking out there in all the regions of this country, whether it is southeast, southwest, southwest. There was a time militants were threatening anybody who is against Jonathan, that Jonathan was not refused to contest election. This is what happened when Jonathan was in power. If Peter Obi becomes the president of Nigeria, the opposition is going to move to the north and the southwestern part of Nigeria. The opposition always moves outside of the areas where the leader comes from. And this is what's happening. So our leaders are very comfortable with that kind of ethnic and sectional solidarity they enjoy now. For example, in the north today, when Jonathan was in power and you support him, they are about to call you an infidel. But now they cannot call you an infidel because Tinubu is the only time they are anti-north. Most of the issues they are raising up today in the north has happened when Kagame was in power. At a certain point in time, all the security apparatus were organized by Northern. TGSSS was Northern. DGNI was Northern. Chief of Army Staff, Chief of Defense Staff, Chief of Naval Staff, Chief of Staff were all Northern. Head of Customs, Head of Immigration, Head of National Security and Defense Services were all Northern. Even Head of Fire Service were all from one part of Nigeria. And this one for us. So we have that ethnic, sectional solidarity for leaders who are in power to detriment. So I do not share the belief that it's only on the basis that when your man is in power, all your problem will solve. So to me, what I'm saying is that if Nigerians want a leadership, I differ from what he's saying. Politically speaking the truth, sure he doesn't have money to settle it. So, but you ask yourself, what happened in Syria? The guy who was there in his late 30s and early 40s doesn't have money, doesn't have money. If you say it's people that vote, why should people be asking for money for them to vote for somebody? If they are suffering, if the playing field is not level, because you gave us an example here where you said this president is not capability that we not capable of somebody against an INEC chairman that he did not know. So if you have a president today who has appointed an INEC chairman that he knows, and given some of the moves that we have seen, it would appear like they are using the instrumentality of the states to supplant the opposition. This your technical example. It might not be a very good example to use here. No, let me tell you one thing. If you think you sit down and power will just look at you and it's takes away from them, it's something that never happens. So I'm coming here. You want to contest election. Free and fair election. Free and fair election. Yes. I want to go to ADC, right? For example, right? Okay. The form for ADC is not going to be 1,000. Yes. It's going to be less than that. The form for APC will be less than that. The S-course of political parties, ideally, if you want to be the chairman of the world, you collect form, you fill it, you contest, and then you work. No political party can be political party. If they're going to be 25 members of the SPP, it's you to. That's like it's done. It's done in opposition party. So I want to say that there are certain rituals that are the same. And again, you can't be a candidate if you are from River State under ADC. I mean. And no democracy coming to be in that place. If you are from Kano State, you are from ADC. It's whether Concourse has approved you or you have not approved. So I want you to tell me, how does that differ from what the Labour Party do. So you can't raise up from nowhere. The choices you have are two. If you want to be in a Labour political party, you have to battle the world here. And if you want to be in a minor political, small political party, the resources will bring you down.
Yes. So I differ a little bit with what we said about Peter. Everybody knows my stand with Peter. I don't feel that the people that support him.
Because he won in Cross River.
I don't think that majority of them are doing it because they are tribalistic. Yes, there are a lot of tribalistic people supporting him. A lot of bigots supporting him. He himself is a bigot. I've said it, and multiple times. He himself has shown elements of bigotry, both religious and otherwise. Again, I think that some of supporters are tribalistic. They demonstrate a lot of bigotry, a lot of hate, and a lot of political extremism as well, because they don't respect the political choices and freedom of other Nigerians. However, I believe that the majority of the supporters are just frustrated people from the spill-off of NSAS and other frustrated Nigerians who are frustrated with this skewed political structure that the distinguished has said, where people just sit down and allocate offices to other people. So they are just tired, frustrated people that, man, we can't continue like this. I'm also frustrated. If I hadn't seen through the man's bullshit, I'll probably even be there. Join them again, if not for some of their toxicity and the insult and unwanted dragging of people and trying to suppress people's rights. But I see their pain. Fortunately, where I will agree with distinguish about that it's impossible to galvanize that momentum of 2014, 2015. Right? It's impossible. That's why I told the president that the president must allow opposition to try in the country. Is that I agree that the president wants to win the election. Anybody who understands politics is telling you president will not win the election. It's like when we're contesting for SUG those days, we know we're going to lose. They will be shouting. We'll be raising our voice. Even the night of the election, we're already discussing with our cabinet that let's win this election. But we never voice it out. We must show courage to the results are announced. Even when results are announced, we find another excuse. We say we won the election, but it was manipulated. And some people even do it. You know, whenever somebody passes in school, they say, I pass. When they fail, they say, they gave me. So, politicians are masters at encouraging themselves. And again, there's always one man about one part of somewhere that's told them that you will be president. So, they are always deluded that their supporters are the worst. Because their supporters are worse than them. Because they brainwash themselves that they're winning this election.
Sorry, please. Before I picked two things, right? That I'm going to ask you a question and then I'm going to pick one. Shora was here and he said that if the election was free and fair, that Tinubu can never be seen. That's one question. What do you think about that? Another question that I also want to ask is, from what Stevie Senate has said here about the ethnicity and, do you think Nigeria has any possible scheme together?
You see, I'm one of those Nigerians that even my worst critic knows that I say the truth. My worst critic. Because I will look you to your face and tell you that this thing has things to like.
Which are you asking?
Now, I'm asking the question that you said for that. That if elections were free and fair, that he would defeat the but it's not possible. That is not possible. My personal account is not possible. This Jagaban, he knows how to run with it, snatch it, grab it. It's not possible. In a free affair, I will hit the nail. In a free affair, he will still grab it. You see why? Nigerians are caused with the love of money. This free and fair will come with a bag of rice. Nobody can stop Nigerians from collecting rice. No, but except if maybe there's a spiritual decree, then collect rice. So he does not have rights to give anyone. So he can never, even in a dream, defeat President Tinubu.